Hey, everybody. On today's Locked On Bama, we're going to talk about a litany of things, not the least of which is prayers up for our main man, John Metchie, the hero of the Iron Bowl, diagnosed with leukemia, a very treatable form of leukemia, but leukemia nonetheless. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to have a lot of recruiting talk. And how about Alabama in this new NIL setup with Fanatics? That sounds really, really cool. And Alabama seems to be on the cutting edge of this thing. So we're going to talk about all that and more on today's Locked On Bama.
Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. Jimmy, how are you today?
Awesome. Training camps, man. I've been watching NFL Network. We record this on Monday, and NFL Network's been having live feeds from training camps, and that is football season right there.
It is, and we're not going to get into this today, but Tyreek Hill had an interview wearing some sunglasses that were almost futuristic, and he was talking about how he loves playing with the most accurate quarterback in the NFL now in Tua Tagovailoa. That'll be a topic for another day, but let's go ahead. First of all, thank everybody for making this your first listen. We appreciate you guys a ton. John Metchie. This was something you and I got whiff of over the weekend, but we were just hoping it wasn't true. And unfortunately, it is true. He does have a very treatable form of leukemia, which he will have to take a year from football. Who knows, maybe more. I don't know. Regardless, there's a guy who, he's had ever since the national championship game, or actually no, the SEC title game, he's had sort of a rough year, and I hate it for him. But boy, I know the whole world's got his back. He is just a really cool kid, hero of the Iron Bowl. I remember him very vividly for a couple of big touchdowns against Texas A&M a couple years ago. A big touchdown against Georgia, and not only SEC championship game, but the first touchdown against Georgia when they played in Tuscaloosa a couple years ago. So, hate it for John Metchie, but wishing him the best, and just a great kid. And sometimes bad things happen to good people.
Yes, bad luck. It is. I mean, as terrible and unfortunate as it is, there is always a silver lining. And how about the fact that John is always surrounded by trainers and doctors and physicians. He was at Alabama. He is now with the Texans. And then that he would end up drafted by a team that has, the best scientific advances in cancer care in the country are in Houston, Texas, who drafts Metchie. So it's kind of like, this is a tragedy. And I hope that he also feels fortunate. It seems to me, from what little I've read, that this particular type of leukemia is quite curable if it's caught early. And he's in the right place at the right time with the right team, and he has a lot of people pulling for him. I hate it that we won't be able to see him play football this fall, but that's just secondary. Hopefully we'll see him healthy and beat this by next spring, and then he'll be a rookie in 2023, and that'll be fun.
Yeah, and just wish him the best. That's all we can do. And it was good to see a lot of fans from other teams, even Georgia, Auburn, Tennessee, wherever, really giving him some encouragement over social media. I thought that was very cool. I mean, this is bigger than the game, and certainly we're all cheering for him. Jimmy, I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody about Built Bar. Here's one right here. Absolutely love these things. Built Puffs. From the people who invented healthy and tasty comes the latest gift to your taste buds. You've probably tried the amazing coconut brownie chunk Built Bar, but guess what? Your friends at Built have given coconut brownie chunk the Puffs treatment. Stop drooling and listen to me. They're good for you. Low calorie, low sugar, high protein, and all delicious. 100% delicious. Coconut brownie chunk puffs are only here for a limited time. Go to Built.com. Make sure you don't miss out. That's Built.com. Use promo code LOCK15. Built.com, promo code LOCK15 will get you 15% off that order at Built.com. Delicious coconut, rich, sweet brownie, creamy marshmallow, all that good stuff. Stop fantasizing. Get to Built.com. Order your box of coconut brownie chunk Built Puffs right now and use promo code LOCKed15. All right, Jimmy. I want to take a second to talk about this NIL thing. So, Fanatics, which is just this huge company that always sells sports paraphernalia and memorabilia, whatever. They partnered with Alabama. I'm sure they're partnering with other schools, but it sounds like Alabama's on the cutting edge in terms of putting a Fanatics / Alabama / NIL store in Bryant-Denny Stadium, where you're going to be able to buy all types of stuff, including game-worn jerseys, and I'm assuming gloves and stuff like that. It sounds awesome.
It really does. I'm excited, and why am I ever not surprised is the right word, but why do we ever doubt that Alabama and the smart people that work in that athletic department and the smart people around Alabama wouldn't be cutting edge when it comes to NIL? And somebody already said it on the Bama on 3 message board, and it's so true. One response when the story came out was, and it feels great because this is what NIL was intended for. With all the controversy and scandal in the offseason about the collectives and players getting paid and upfront money and Nico Imaliva's $8 million and Rashada's $7 or $10 million, whatever it is at Miami, all that talk. But this is why NIL is a good thing. The store selling merchandise that directly benefits the players, whether it's memorabilia or whether it's just T-shirt jerseys and all, who knows what'll be for sale in there. And I know I'm going to be a customer for sure. I know everyone listening will. And the fact that it benefits the players, it's going to do so well. And it is exactly what NIL was intended for in the first place. Almost makes it feel almost wholesome compared to what we hear in college football. And I'm really excited about that.
Somebody died in the background of your house, by the way. I don't know who it was. They're dead. Say a prayer. Also, the other great thing about this is no longer do we have to go to men's T-Town, whatever, to get our signed paraphernalia. That's fantastic.
That is
T-Town men wear. That's what it is.
That's true and hilarious. I thought we weren't allowed by rule to ever discuss that again. But this
is sort of a tacit rule.
This week, and no, I'm fired up, especially the partnership with Fanatics and High Tide Tradition is involved in this. I saw Philip Stutz, friend of the show, Philip Stutz, saw his tweet this morning. Man, I'm excited to get in there and look around. I hope, I've been saying this, I'm sure it's true. I hope they put it in the south end zone on street level, and they can keep that gate open right there. There used to be a Zoe's right there. And they can put it right there, and the store just stays open all year. It's not like, hey, just open on game days. It's open all year long, just like the soup store. And it would be right drive, easy access. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, I like that idea a lot. I hope they confer with you to get this done. One other thing of note here, ES updated their recruiting rankings. Now, I think that most people who follow recruiting would say if you're going to go by rankings, ESPN's rankings are generally the worst, the least dependable, or they go against the grain a lot. But I'm pro.
So I'm not going to criticize other companies that are kind of competitors with On3 when it comes to this. I'm not going to, rip on this company. And frankly, I was actually speaking with a competitor today. With a friend that works for a competitor, and we were discussing this very thing about how sometimes the fans want us to turn against each other, but for the most part, we're all friends actually, and work together. And now, honestly, I don't know anybody at ESPN recruiting. I know the names. I don't know Tom Luganbill personally, sort of like him. I mean, I think he does a good job. I don't think I'm sure Luganbill has a big voice. I don't think he does the actual rankings. That would surprise me. But I agree with your take. If the take is ESPN's rankings often look different than On3 24/7s and Rivals, that's true. They have more higher ranked outliers and lower ranked outliers than both.
Well, in that regard, Eli Holstein is now the number 13 player in the country and a 5-star.
That is very, very opposite of On3, to be honest, where Eli Holstein dipped almost significantly at Elite 11. I guess Holstein is moving in an opposite direction on On3 that is ESPN. But hey, I like Holstein. This is what I know. This is hard to imagine for fans that are what I would call, they read the rankings, but they're not going to watch film, and they're not coaches, and I think it's hard for them to understand, for everyone to understand all the time, that if you put the top 10 quarterbacks on the field, the top 10, whoever the top 10 are, put them on the field, and then put 10 coaches out there, that the QB coach at Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Miami, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, Arizona, put 10 coaches out there, put those 10 quarterbacks out there, you're going to get 10 different opinions in terms of how they order them. Everyone's not going to have the same opinion. It's not at all obvious who's one, who's two, who's three. It's just not. It's so subjective. And that's why, even though On 3 has Holstein moving down, ESPN apparently has Holstein moving way up, it doesn't surprise me. And as much as of course, I'm an On 3 guy, and I'm going to back up On 3's opinion all the time. I get it. I'm higher on Holstein than some people at On 3 are. So yeah, I get it. Hey, Alabama was high on Holstein. Clemson was high on Vizina, and Dabo's not an idiot. And we know Nick Saban and Bill O'Brien aren't.
That's true. Jimmy, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more recruiting. All right, buddy. One thing, Hunter Osborne did have his announcement today that he will make an announcement next week. So his announcement will be 6 o'clock next Monday, August 1st. We expect it to be the University of Alabama. So that will be fantastic. Then On 3, your company, they did a great job here talking about the top 20 uncommitted prospects. And this is very Alabama-centric. It's got Cormani McClain. It just talks about what's going on with him. Alabama is the crystal ball leader. Florida, Miami, and Georgia are all in there. But you feel good about Alabama here, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, early on, Florida, I think Alabama's taken a lot of the momentum. I get the feeling it's kind of weird using this phrase anymore because of NIL, but I think Cormani's sort of making a business decision. That's what it feels like to me. Him and his mom, Team Cormani. It feels like they're like, hey, Alabama's further from home. He's pretty local to Gainesville and is a Florida guy. But I think because Napier's program is so new at Florida, and there's not really a big Florida track record there, and Alabama's track record at developing cornerbacks is really unrivaled, or at least on the very, very short list of best places you can be. Sort of feels like early on Cormani was doing what was going to be popular in his hometown, but right in the end is sort of making a business decision. And I'm not referring to NIL, I'm just referring to a place that can develop him into a what he feels he is, which is a first round NFL cornerback.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'm not going to run down all of them, not all of them involved, but of course Caleb Downs is on there. He will be committing on the 27th, so that's in 2 days.
Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Feeling pretty good about it, but I'll be honest. I mean, I've told people before, some inside baseball, that hey, sometimes we get the scoop, and sometimes we know, and we get to write everything in advance, and it all just rolls out neatly and easily. We do not have a heads up here. We might get one, but right now we don't. And if we do, by the way, don't come to the show thinking I'm going to tell people the reason that we don't. You have to let the kid make the kid has to make the announcement, not On 3, not some reporter somewhere. I mean, he's worked for this. He gets to make the announcement. But I'm just being honest when I say we don't know. We have a strong feeling it's Alabama. I think it's Alabama or Ohio State, which is interesting to me because 3 months ago, I would have kind of been predicting Georgia. I think Justice Haynes, you're going to have to give him a big assist here. They're tight. Justice Haynes and Caleb Downs, they're buds. And I do think that I'm not saying Caleb's only going to Alabama because of Justice Haynes, but it does not hurt.
Yeah, and that doesn't hurt at all. It is weird he's not going to Georgia, but Georgia just got another commitment from another big-time safety here recently out of Florida, I think. So that also may be pretty telltale. Of course, they bring up Quay Russell and they bring up James Smith, but I mean, we've talked about those guys a lot. We will continue to talk about them. Talk about Richard Young, who we've talked about a lot. Here's one that they brought up that Alabama's been associated with, Javion Toviano. Any more thinking that Alabama could land him?
I don't think so. He's Texas, right?
He's from Texas.
Yeah. I don't think so. I do know he's visited. I do know Alabama took a long look. I'm not sure who's saying no to who there, but no, I do not project, and neither does Joseph Hastings. Does not project that he ends up at Alabama. I think it's going to be one of the Texas schools for him.
All right, and then finally, the last one we'll talk about is Kelby Collins, who is apparently going to take 2 visits to Alabama this week. That's telling, right?
I didn't get all the details, Luke, but isn't he? It sounds to me like he's going to leave Gardendale and drive to Tuscaloosa and visit Alabama, and from Alabama drive to Gainesville and visit Florida, and then stop again in Tuscaloosa on the way back. Is he doing something like that? I mean,
yeah.
And hey, that's great if he is. He clearly likes Florida. I mean, hey, if you want to tell as to where kids are very interested in, I'm not saying where they'll go, but if you want to tell as to how interested a kid is, kids that do unofficials on their own dime after they've done an official. The kid gets the official, they get the wine and dine, and then they go back on their own. And he's doing that with Gainesville and Florida. So that to me tells Kelby's interest in Florida is 100% legitimate. He's not an Alabama lock. I think we also happen to know that he is a fan of Georgia. Or is a fan of their program. I think he's an Alabama fan first and foremost. But I'm just saying that it is not a lock that Kelby Collins is going to Alabama. Now, I project that he is, and I think Joseph Hastings also projects that he is going to sign with Alabama eventually, or even maybe before the season commit to Alabama. But, yeah, feel good about it. Not a lock.
Yeah, he's actually – this is according to Chad Simmons from On 3. He says he's going to make 2 trips to Alabama, one on Tuesday and another on Thursday to see the Crimson Tide. Then he'll head to Florida this weekend. These two, along with Georgia and South Carolina, are the programs most heavily involved.
Yeah, there's also camps going on at Alabama, and I don't know whether Kelby's going to participate or not, but there are this is the final week of camps. There were no camps in July until this week. Dead period's over, so now you can have camps. Alabama will have camps this week, and then clear the deck, because next week the big boys hit the practice field, and that's what we're super excited about.
All right, buddy, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. I mean, we're up over 1,600 subscribers now. I mean, Jimmy, when we started this, I mean, we were thrilled to death to get 100, and you guys are just the best. Thank you so much, and until next time, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.